Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening to everyone. And first of all, a hearty welcome to all the participants here for the World Pharmacist Day 2025. And first of all, thanks to the President of Association of Community Pharmacists of India, Dr. Nagappa. A hearty welcome to you, sir. I also welcome Dr. Shilpa Bilgaonkar, who is the convener of ACPA National Women's Forum. And she is also a speaker today. A hearty welcome to you. Dr. Shilpa, are you there? Okay. I also welcome the other speaker of today's program, Dr. Mirin Matthew from Shardavel's College of Pharmacy. And I can see some senior professors here. Dr. Rupendra is there. Then we also have Dr. Majgi and all the other people who are here. A hearty welcome to you. And I am sure that the deliberations of today will be really useful for the audience here. I take this opportunity to welcome the teaching staff of Shardavel's College of Pharmacy and the students of PharmD, Diploma, B.Pharm here. A hearty welcome to you. And I'm very sure the deliberations of these two speakers are going to be very much useful for you. A hearty welcome to you, and it's all yours, Dr. Sumit.
Sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your inspiring and motivating words. Now, I would deeply honor to have our Dr. Nagappa, President of ACPI, whose leadership has shaped the vision of community pharmacy in India. I now request Dr. Nagappa, sir, to kindly deliver inaugural talk.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's very nice occasion to see the celebrations of ACPI World Pharmacist Day. What the World Pharmacist Day mean to us? We are universal. From every nook and corner of the world, we speak, we stand, and we dedicate for the service of the patients. To give them appropriate services, we strive. We will equip with latest knowledge, not only about drugs and devices, about patient psychology, and also the patient's so many things. We have to keep the prescription prices low as possible because we do not know the economic background of a patient. So we have to be in total a friend of a patient, and we must struggle for the best for the patient. For example, if there is I come across one small case today I would like to share here. I was working in Vadipal 15 years ago. Well, the nascent thoughts of community pharmacy were taking birth in the Association of Community Pharmacists of India. There, what happened? There used to be a small restaurant in front of the KMC hospital. It's called as Pongal Restaurant. There used to be a server whose income was barely 3,000 rupees per month. And with that 3,000, he has to manage his family and also his diabetes. So what happened? And he was prescribed with pen-filled syringes. So pen-filled syringes were although very good devices for delivering insulin, but for this patient, it is very expensive. So when we went for a chai there, he came to our table. Sir, our doctor has prescribed this Penfills, which is very expensive. If I go for only medicines, I don't have anything to feed to my family. This is the situation. Then we thought 5 pencils should be given even a, a, a vial is also sufficient. That will do the same job. It will deliver the insulin. So we suggested him to contact the doctor, the physician in KMC. Can he change the cartridge pen fill to a vial? And when the suggestion went from us, doctor was perplexed and he felt a bit offended initially, and then he agreed. See, what it means to say is we pharmacists are always to stand for the patients and their problems. We must be able to understand. Then only we are able to do some service. We cannot work in isolation. We cannot say that the cartridges are very fine, you go for it. We can't say like that. Because patients from different background, economic, social, so many other things, they are having their own issues. So we will try to understand and try to give a proper solution for the patient's healthcare. So I can go on like this. I don't want to spend all the day with this thing. So this is with this introduction. I invite Dr. Sumaya to start with the main course of action. Thank you, Sumaya, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir, for your thought and for your provoking insights. Now we would like to start with our topics. So we are delighted to welcome Dr. Shilpa Bilgaonkar, Director, ACPI Women's Forum, Goa. She is also an associate professor in PSS Rajamani Tarabai Bandekar College of Pharmacy, Goa. She is the alumnus of Government College of Pharmacy, Aurangabad. She completed her M.Pharm in SNDT University, Mumbai, and PhD in NMIMS University, Mumbai. And she is also having and she has also contributed extensively to their domain with multiple publications in esteemed journals and patents that reflect their innovative work. So I welcome you, ma'am, to speak on the topic of today's theme, that is Think Pharmacist, Think Health.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, Dr. Shilpa.
My screen, everyone can see?
Very well.
Okay. So I'm very much thankful. First of all, before starting, I should say a very happy World Pharmacist Day to all the pharmacists here. I'm thankful to Sharda Vilas College of Pharmacy, Mysore, for making us involved in their World Pharmacist Day celebrations. Also, I'm thankful to the officials of the Association of the Community Pharmacists of India and also Pharma Vision Karnataka Dakshin. And I here basically to get the opportunity, first of all, I'll tell you that it was a maybe invitation 11th hour, but I was very glad to accept it because I thought I could share something with you, being a faculty or being the official of the ACPI or being working in this profession since around 20 years. So when the thought came in my mind what I should be speaking about, initially I thought I'll take out some presentation which is old and then I'll start sharing with you all. But then speaking on the day which is for the pharmacist, rather than sharing the topics what we are studying in our curriculum or maybe something like what we are discussing since long, I thought where we are failing and how we can brighten our future and what are the problems that currently we are facing and how we can overcome them. And that is the reason I have made a short presentation, my dear students and other officials and the peers, that World Pharmacist Day celebrations 2025. But when we are celebrating this is a time for us to think about the future. So first coming to why we celebrate the World Pharmacist Day. As we know that it is the initiative of the Federation of the International Pharmacists, who is a global leader in advancing the pharmacy, and has been campaigning for the profession of pharmacy for over a century. The celebrations of the World Pharmacist Day began somewhere in 1902. Extensively, we are following this maybe in the last 10 years all over the world. Now, why we celebrate? Here, I have made a very brief presentation because the time was lacking. But I should say why we are doing this, to acknowledge the role of the pharmacist who are working in various sectors, various areas. So whenever we talk about the pharmacists working in various areas, I should not mention that which are the areas in which the pharmacists are working. We know right from the research, development, pilot plant, scale up, then industrial pharmacy, manufacturing, clinical pharmacy, then maybe pharmacovigilance, clinical trials, or maybe I can think about the marketing, wholesale, regulatory, then even nowadays medical scribing, and the main profession what we should discuss here, that whatever we all are doing, it's coming to the society by our face of the profession, and which is nothing but the community pharmacy. So in all, there are different segments of the profession of the pharmacist. Okay. So here now, whenever we are talking about the contribution of the pharmacist in various sectors, we know that each and every area in which the pharmacists are working, there are stringent rules and regulations which we have to abide with. Now, there are different regulatory bodies. Whatever is the role of the pharmacist that we are undertaking, every role is been abide by the regulatory bodies. There are so many regulations that we are supposed to adhere with, that we are supposed to follow. And if we are not in a position to follow any of the regulation, there will be restriction on the job profile that we are contributing as a pharmacist. Now, here, though so many things we are doing, we should say that still we feel, many of us we feel, to whomever, to so many people also we are talking with, many a times, everyone complains about that the role of the pharmacist is unidentified, okay, in to the extent, we should say, it is not completely unidentified, but to the extent it should be. Now, I should say that one of the example what we can talk about here, that though so many social or the community services we are doing, okay, maybe India we can talk about, the pharmacist of the world. So many generic medicines we are manufacturing here. We are great suppliers of the medicine. We are having a big stake in the medicines, and even maybe in the economy of the country. But still, whenever we are thinking about, now why I'm saying unidentified, that whenever any student is taking admission to the pharmacy, okay, when we ask them that did you wanted to become a pharmacist, so the first answer what comes, no, I did not get admission to some of the other courses, and that is the reason, I have come here to be a pharmacist. So why this answer is coming? Because many of the students, they don't know what they can do being a pharmacist. Okay, so this is a very pathetic situation why what we should say we are facing, though we are making a comment that FIP since 1902 is trying to celebrate the World Pharmacist Day. So after over a century also, why we are facing such kind of situations? So some of the examples where we can say the role of the pharmacist are unidentified. So the first example I would like to give here, that during the era of the COVID, many other professions were been identified as the COVID warriors. But that opportunity was not given to the pharmacists. Pharmacists were not identified as the COVID warriors. And I should say that pharmaceutical industry was the only industry which was working in that particular period. Okay, continuously, many people were having work from home, and many areas were having the restricted services. But pharmaceutical manufacturing industry was the one who normally used to work in one shift. They were working in three shift to provide with the medicines. But after doing all these things also, we were not under the umbrella of the COVID warriors. No other things we can talk about, where we are failing to create. The first thing what we are having is the social image. So though we say that we are the pharmacists, we don't have any defined image in the community. Maybe as I said, the community pharmacist is the face of the pharmacy profession. Always it comes like, first as you are doing the BPharm, are you going to get the license and start the medical shop? Now, this example is very common. Maybe like, many a times you must have given yourself, if any teachers are here, or maybe I should say like, being the students, you must have heard this comment many times from many of the people. But still I'm repeating it because it is not the end of that particular statement, because still now, currently also, if we tell that someone is doing the BPharm, the first question comes, it is very good, they can start with the medical shop. Now, second, if not medical shop, where they are supposed to work, they don't know. They always say like, there are very limited job opportunities, and we have created very limited job opportunities. Sorry, there is a spelling mistake here. So why the limited job opportunities we are facing? Because students here, there are certain areas we don't know that we can contribute to our fullest. There are certain areas wherein the pharmacy students are not ready to work upon. They just think like, there are some creamy areas for the work in various sectors, maybe like, wherein they want to contribute. If you are asking someone where you want to work, they will say like, no, I want to work in production. And they will say, I want to work in QA. QA is a very popular choice of the students. Then if they are doing MPharm, I want to work in R&D and QA, R&D and QA. But more than R&D and QA, they don't want to contribute into anything. If you are asking someone to work on the packaging line, they're very hesitant. If you're asking someone to work in the QC, there also they are hesitant. So if being the pharmacist, you don't want to contribute in the areas wherein you should be to apply your expertise, it is not about the area, it is about your expertise, okay, which is needed in that particular area, because you are the one who understands the significance of that area in developing of the product and in maintaining the stability of the product. But still the students are very much hesitant, and that is the reason I should say limited positions and the opportunities what we are facing now. Now, one more example what I should give here, being the pharmacist, partially I think we have failed. That is like, we have tried to expand whenever it comes to the education of the pharmacy. We have always tried to expand the services what we could give, or the education what we could give. We have tried to do the specialized education which should serve the society. And one such example what we are having is the PharmD program. But now, whenever we talk about the PharmD program, and whenever we are asking them where you want to work exactly, so many people will say we want to go abroad because there we are having the defined job opportunity. Why in India we are failing to create the defined job opportunities for them is something which is difficult. Now, up till now, what we are thinking, it is our responsibility, maybe like, to develop a PharmD department in most of the, nowadays it is coming up obviously, but 100% we have not achieved that particular part. So this is one of the example of the limited positions and the job opportunities, because the significance of our profession is not been communicated to our peer professions. Whenever we say that we can counsel on the medicines, whenever we can tell about like, we can talk about the drug interactions, whenever we can say about, we can talk about the safety of the drug, we can talk about the dosage of the drug. In that case, like, it is not been taken so seriously, taking a doubt whether we could do the same or we cannot do the same. So this is something like, which is, we can say like, it is a heartbreaking situation for all of us who are working hard, very sincerely in that particular position. Third, what we face, like, India being the hub of the pharmaceuticals, there is a limited remuneration what we are giving. So there are so many challenges. Though we are celebrating the World Pharmacist Day, there are so many challenges what our profession currently also is facing, and we are the one who have to think about how we can overcome about these situations which we don't want in our profession. So who is responsible for all these things? So whenever we think like, that why this is not happening, who is responsible? So the answer here, I should say, is we only are responsible for what is happening with the profession. Now, why we should make this particular statement? Because, my dear students, here, very first thing is that we want to work, we don't know basically, first of all, that in this specific work area, our interest is there. Now, pharmacy is a profession, I should say, which is a multifaceted profession. Now, whenever just now we discussed about the different areas wherein the pharmacists are contributing. So there are various areas in which you can go, you can try maybe like, your talent, you can find out your interest, and you can contribute to a very great extent in which you think you are capable of contributing. So here, first of all, many of our students, they fail to find out the specific work area in which they are having the interest. Okay, so this is the first thing what we are failing. Now, second, if we are having certain area or maybe you are having knowledge also, whenever it comes to the expression of the knowledge, we fail to express our knowledge. Okay, so maybe the reason behind that is lack of confidence, or maybe it is overview of that particular area, or maybe they are not sure of themselves that whatever they have studied to the extent is sufficient or it is insufficient. So there could be many reasons in failing to express the knowledge. Okay, so that is the second reason what we should say. Third, it is a now these remaining points whatever I have written. Now these are the points what I'm seeing from the current generations, and I think no one should take it very personally or something. So what we are having is lack of enthusiasm. Now, if we see in the current youths, there is whenever we say about any professional contribution, there is lack of enthusiasm. They don't want to do it if we are telling them to do something. First of all, is there no one to do it, or why we should do it? So whenever it comes to work for your profession, to do something for the profession, the students are not coming forward in that enthusiastic way. Now, this statement I'm not doing for 100% of the student community, but maybe most of the student community, they're facing this challenge of lack of enthusiasm. Second, it is lack of motivation. They're not self-motivated. Okay, motivation the teachers are giving, maybe other professionals are giving. We are trying to show you everything what is possible from our side. Okay, so here the lack of motivation is there. Now, not only in students, I should say. Okay, whoever are passing out and going in the industry also. Okay, in the industry also, we are getting the feedback from the in the similar line. Okay, they say when something is being told to do, they're not doing it very enthusiastically. They're doing it only as a part and parcel of their job, that this has to be done. Okay, we are doing it. It is coming or it is not coming, that is none of their business. They will not try to find out the root cause why it is not happening, how they can resolve the problem is coming, then only report to the seniors. They are not thinking about what they can do to solve the problem according to their knowledge or to the extent what they can think. So that lack of enthusiasm is there. Now that lack of enthusiasm may be is happening because there is lack of self motivation. Okay, now self motivation is what? Their own willingness, okay, to become the soundful pharmacist, I should say. So here now, why that lack of self motivation is there? Again, because whenever we say that we are becoming the pharmacist, okay, in that case it is only reading the books and working for themselves. So this particular picture, my dear students and other colleagues, here we have to change that. Whenever you are becoming the pharmacist is not a profession wherein you can work alone, I should say. Now if someone is doing computer engineering, or anyone is doing information technology, we can see there are so many startups in that area. Why it is so? Because anyone who is having a computer and maybe single room, a registered company name, they can start with their own business, and they can say we are doing the business, and then as on they are capable of doing the programming, they are getting the orders, and they can run their business. But here, whenever it is coming to the profession of the pharmacy, no one can survive alone. Okay, this everything. Now, always we say the pharmacy is a noble profession. Why? Because we are not playing with ourselves; we are playing with the society. So, if any program is going wrong, okay, there won't be any problem. But if any medicine, first of all, developing a medicine is not a job of a single individual. Okay, it requires a teamwork. And moreover, if anything goes wrong in that particular case, it is not affecting also a single individual, it is affecting so many people who are surrounding. So what is required here? That you have to be self motivated, that with your will or without your will, you have involved in this particular profession. So you should not restrict your knowledge, your interest only to you. You have to use it for the profession. You have to interact with the professionals. Okay, you have to see what more you are supposed to learn. So that self motivation for the profession, for our profession, to create our image, we have to develop maybe. Okay, the next, failing in innovation. So whenever we want to create our own image, what is required? We have to do the extensive innovative work. Now, innovation is it only developing the new product? Maybe the answer is no. So here, whenever we are talking about the profession of the pharmacy, as we said, there are various facets of the profession. So whenever it is coming to the services of the pharmacy, also there are different ways, innovative ways, how wherein we can communicate the knowledge about the drugs to the society. Maybe we can develop the new ways for the patient counseling. Maybe we can find out a suitable innovative method to collect the ADRs. We can find out that whenever we are doing the pharmacovigilance, okay, in that particular case, how properly we can channelize them, okay, to give their feedbacks. That everything in every area, okay, there is innovation. So what we are doing, as there is lack of motivation, we are following the same trails what we were doing before. So nowadays, as I said, 100%, I should not say that this is happening, because 20% innovations are happening, new things are coming, but how many people are following and learning it? Okay, there it is creating a gap. Okay, even in labeling, if you all know, initially the labels were different, now the labels are different. Okay, now we are having wherein the different type of new labeling systems have come, but how many people know about it? How many pharmacists know about it? Have they communicated the same with the uh, patients, and maybe the other consumers who are coming on the pharmacy? So this is one of the examples. So innovations are there 20%, but there is a big gap, that those innovations only a particular sector is doing and not every mind is doing, though our profession is a bigger profession in the country. And now next little controversial word I have used, that unethical practices because of lack of knowledge. Now why I have written unethical practices because of lack of knowledge? Because here the major problem what every industry is facing, okay, that is the issue of the data integrity. Okay, now this issue of the data integrity is what, that here there is so much, as I said, there are limited job opportunities what people think of. Now if they're getting the job and they're doing some job and they're not getting the results, what normally they practice in modification of that particular result, okay, to the limit what has been given in the regulatory books or maybe the pharmacopoeias or any of the standard book. So is it really required? So they are not ready to accept that there will be a fault in the process. Okay, process also can be faulty, but that they're not accepting. They're thinking the fault is of their own. So rather than working on the fault, as I said, because there is lack of knowledge that where it can go wrong, to find out the root cause, as I had mentioned before, that they're not working. So because of this, many of the pharma companies, maybe from 2004 to 2010 and 12, have faced bigger issues of the data integrity, and many companies, renowned companies, okay, they have closed because of this issue of the data integrity. And then subsequently, now we are having many online data management systems, but now also people try to modify the way they want. Okay, so here we have to stop all these practices, because there is lack of knowledge, that if they're doing this particular part, they think they're safeguarding themselves. But what can happen with the company? What can happen with the product? Okay, what can happen to the community? That knowledge is not there. So extensiveness of a small unethical practice, what they are doing, okay, how it will affect on a larger scale, that knowledge is not there in the pharmacist. So I should say, we are responsible, because we are working with all these particular ways to contribute in the profession. So if you want to come ahead with the remedies, how we can modify this and what we should try. So whenever we are talking about that, we are celebrating the World Pharmacist Day 2025. Okay, till the next time, next year we are celebrating it. At least with ourselves, we have to keep in mind that there are certain things what I want to inculcate in myself and I want to do for the profession. So the very first thing is what? It is honest with the profession. Okay, so whatever you are doing for the profession, do it honestly. Okay, the way it has to be done, we have to do in that way only. And moreover, we have to think that I'm doing all the way, I'm contributing in all the ways, okay, to upgrade the image of my profession. Secondly, it is adhering to the ethical practices. So maybe it is from the students level to the industrial level to the other higher levels. Now ethical practices, whenever I talk about it, is even manufacturing of the drug. So there are certain, initially it was about supply of the generic drug. Subsequently, what came into market, there were innovators, there were many generic drugs. And now to get the cheaper medicines, okay, to get the cheaper medicines, there are different type of generic products which are coming in the market. Campaigning also was done 2 years back, like, they were talking about whether we should use the word the branded generics and all. Why it is happening? Because here, like, whenever there are differences in the regulatory guidelines, whenever you market the product in different countries, so when you are doing for the domestic use, okay, we have to keep in mind, though it is for the domestic use, and maybe, like, the regulatory guidelines, whatever we are following, we are writing something, we are doing something, that is okay. But here, whatever we are manufacturing, we have to keep in mind that we are going to adhere to the ethical practices from the as a student, as manufacturers, as suppliers. Okay, sometimes long back, like, there were big problems which were been associated on, like, maybe doing some practices to prescribe their product and something. So those kind of things are closed now. But like those, there are many other practices also which are there in the picture. Might we don't know about it. So whichever area we are working as a pharmacist, we have to think about, and we should be adhering to the promoting of the ethical practices in that particular area. Next is try to do the best of you as you're going to be graduated as the pharmacist, or you are pharmacist already working in certain area. You have to think about that whenever you are representing yourself to the outside world, or maybe professionally, wherever you are going, you have to keep in mind that you are presenting yourself not only as an individual, but also as a pharmacist of the country. So try to do the best. Okay, whatever you are learning, whatever you are doing, okay, master the knowledge. Okay, whatever you are having, that is one thing what we can do about. And the another thing why we have to do it, why we have to try the best of ourselves, because whenever we are speaking, we should be confident about. So whenever someone is asking you something, in the previous slide we have seen, like, many of the students, why I had written that unable to express the knowledge, because many a times when the interviewers are coming, that time they say, like, that when the questions are being asked, the students are not answering properly, they keep quiet, or maybe they talk very little. So that is the reason I'm saying, like, whatever you are studying, first you remain honest with your job. So as a student, what is your job? You have to be honest with your profession. And as maybe, like, any professional, what is your job? To remain honest with the operation, whatever you are doing related to the profession, and whatever you are doing, you try to do the best of yourself. Now, don't support any of the unethical practices that we have discussed before. It is not only supporting the unethical practices, but I should say you are supposed to report also the unethical practices, because slowly the habit of doing the things not in a correct way should not be present in the profession of the pharmacy. Be confident with your knowledge, read more, practice more, so that you should be confident about it. Try to be expressive always. Whenever you are going anywhere, some discussion is been going on, whenever you want to create an impact as a professional, you have to express yourself. It's not like two people are speaking, you are having something to speak about. With the due permission, it is your duty. If there is something been discussed about any of the issue of the profession, you have to express yourself, because more people are participating in the communication. There will be different angles about the same issue what we can understand. Okay, so that is one reason. And second, maybe, like, people will understand your role and the responsibility. Okay, if you are expressing the same, interact with the community. If you want to create an image, the main target what we are having is the betterment of the community, betterment of the society. And now our roles, okay, to safeguard the community is to talk with them, make them understand about the issues with the medicines, the safety, how they can maintain with the medicines, and what is required for that, whether you are working with the community or you are not working with the community. It is very much required for you to read about each and every medicine, to understand about how you are going to uh, do the counseling with that particular medicine, at least at the basic level. Okay, and then try interacting with the community, so that your role in the community will be defined. Interact with the peer community. So it is not only with the community students, take the membership of the different societies. Why? Because at the different platform, there will be different type of the people who are working. And whenever you are interacting with them, your knowledge will be expanded and your views will be considered. So it will give you a recognition, as the professional pharmacist. Then be the face of your profession. As I said, wherever you are going, whenever it is related to your profession, don't hesitate to express your views. Don't say what is my role into that particular discussion or that particular way. Okay, take out some time to work for your profession. Okay, so that is something what I can say, be the face of your profession. Then expand your roles of the community services. Okay, so whenever you are getting the time, maybe you can do the counseling willingly, you can go on any of the pharmacy or in your community only surrounding, you can do some of the social responsibilities what are due for the profession of the pharmacy, that you can do, maybe pharmacovigilance or any other things, like whenever you, and moreover doing the professional jobs are the defined roles of the pharmacist. What we can do, we can counsel the patients in very empathetic way, I should say, like that is something what everyone can do. So this is some that we have to practice. Then equip yourself with the current trends and technologies. So if we want to exist ourselves as profession, we have to equip ourselves, we have to learn new things what are required, okay, for our profession, or maybe for the betterment of the profession. As I said, like there are many innovative ways which have been coming. So whenever you are educating the people and the patient, okay, in that particular area, we can find out the new trends and the technologies. We can master them and use them for the betterment of the profession. And lastly, to become the master, okay, become the master of your core area, become the master of the profession, and moreover practice your profession. So these are some of the remedies I think what every student should follow. And lastly, I should say this year we are saying that the theme what we are having for the World Pharmacist Day is about think health and think pharmacist. But next year, or maybe in the upcoming years, the people should say that whenever, or they should feel that whenever they are thinking about the health, the maintenance of the health, the betterment of the health, obviously they should think about the pharmacist. So we don't have to carry this slogan that think health and think pharmacist. We should come in the mind of the people that whenever it is about our health, okay, first picture what should come in front of their eyes is of the pharmacist. Thank you very much. And thank you, Joshi sir, for giving me this opportunity. I don't know how much I have done the justice, but I'm very happy to share my views here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your valuable insights and enlightening the session. Thank you so much. Now I request Dr. Marin Matthew. She's Associate Professor of Department of Pharmacy Practice, Shardavilas College of Pharmacy, Mysuru, to deliver the talk on the topic Pharmacists Beyond the Counter.
Shilpa madam, please stay back. There will be question answer session in the end, so that we can answer.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Marin, we can't hear you.
Am I audible, sir?
Now you are.
Okay, good evening to one and all. So today I'm going to talk about the pharmacists beyond the counter as advocates, innovators, as well as caregivers. So as already Dr. Shilpa ma'am have talked about the theme
Think Health, Think Pharmacist in detail, I would like to go through the history of the pharmacy, how it was established, and what is the current overview of the clinical pharmacy or the pharmacist. Whether my slides are moving, sir?
No, they are not moving. Can you give the slideshow?
Yes, sir.
It's moving now.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So the thing is Think Health, Think Pharmacist. So currently I would like to give a brief introduction about the history, how the pharmacy was started, and what is the current overview of the pharmacist. So as we see, the first pharmacy was established by the King James I in the 17th century, where we can see the then called apothecary or a physician. For a person to visit a apothecary or a physician, they would have greeted by a staff member or a resident medicinal expert who would prepare a remedy tailored to the patient's need. While the time went on, the patient would visit a medical professional who would then recommend a treatment and then for the patient. So up to 1951, we can see the pharmacist prescribed the medication as fit for the narcotics. While after the implementation of Durham-Humbre Amendment in 1951, we can see the pharmacists were required to have a prescription form from a physician. So after obtaining a prescription, the patient would consult a pharmacist to obtain the recommended medication. So gradually in 1980s, what we can see is the Medicare Prescription Drug Improvement and Modernization Act implementation. From there on, the pharmacist role expanded to educating and counseling the patients for their medications. But unfortunately, currently we can see not all the pharmacists go beyond the extra mile to ensure the patients are educated. So to be completely ensure the patient's education or how to use the medication or to give the best treatment, the physician choose to dispense the medication at the point of the care. And this is what is called the modern medical dispensing is. So this was the overview of how the the pharmacist is working currently in or all over the world. As well as if you see in the developed countries, there are different types of pharmacists we can see, as well as in India also, the clinical pharmacist is expanding their roles beyond the dispensing or beyond the counters. So in brief, we can say there are three types of pharmacists. One is community pharmacists, as we all are aware about, who dispense the medications in the retail setting, while the hospital pharmacists who compound or safe preparations dispensing the medications which drugs for the inpatients or the admitted patients, while the clinical pharmacists collaborate with the healthcare teams to optimize the therapy and provide the direct care towards the patient. So you can see the pictures, how it goes. The community pharmacist in the first picture, while the hospital pharmacist and the clinical pharmacist, where they will go beyond the counters to the patient, to the bed, to their beds, and educate them along with the healthcare professionals or the other teams and optimize the therapy. So what are the roles beyond the counters a pharmacist can do? So I have subdivided some of the roles and not going beyond too much explanation because of the time limit. So let me have a brief introduction about this. Clinical services. The first of all, the medication therapy management to optimize the drug therapy, to prevent the interactions, especially drug-drug interaction, drug-food interactions. So we can say that is one of the major role of the pharmacist and comes to the chronic disease care, especially diabetics, hypertension, asthma, etc., where the chronic diseases require polypharmacy or they will having a long term of medication uptake. But the pharmacist will have a great role, especially the medication adherence, etc. Then collaborative practices as well as already I talked about the clinical pharmacist role, where they will collaborate with the physicians and the nurses and see what all the drug treatment chart the patients are going through and how can be more safer medications can reach into the patient. When it comes to the public health, one of the major breakout, we can say, the pharmacist-led vaccination uh, happens in worldwide. So here, the promote immunization uptake across the age group. In India, uh, there is no system for immunization by the pharmacist, but we can see many of the countries, the pharmacist-led promotions have been taken for the vaccination. Then again, the most challenging one, the antimicrobial resistance throughout the world, which happens nowadays, where the community pharmacist or the pharmacists have a very big role, especially during the dispensing or the guided prescription or the guided uptake of the antimicrobial courses. The health education raise awareness on safe medication use and lifestyle changes. Screening programs, especially BP, glucose, all most of the chronic diseases where India is known to be the second largest population with most of the chronic diseases, and the pharmacist is having a great role to prevent such type of diseases in very initial stage by the screening programs. So these are the different roles which they can possess in the public health. Then comes the patient counseling and adherence support. Most of them of us knows about the patient counseling and medication adherence, especially in those patients with having polypharmacy. The pharmacist is having a wide um, uh, responsibility to simplify their regimens, especially they can use the digital innovations or the medication adherence boxes so that the different types of drugs which a patient can be taken can the pharmacist can make it a simplified form. Then comes the clinical trials. Other than from physicians or other researchers, the pharmacist is also having a very big role from initiating from the protocol development to the safety monitoring, regulatory compliance, etc. Then last one, the scientific communication. Sorry, the scientific communications. Yes, of course, the many, as we know, India is having a high burden of diseases, and many of the patients are not able to, or the physicians are not able to see all the patients in a while. They are having a huge lot of patients all over the world. So in such a scenario, we don't know that proper scientific communications are not happening throughout the world, and this is very much important for the real setting practices also. So here, the pharmacist is having a significant roles in order to publication as well as for communication among the healthcare professionals, the drug information to the healthcare practitioners, and translating the complex data into practical guidance, etc. Then precision and personalized care, as the role of precision medication is increasing worldwide, and the patients who are having kidney or liver failure, they're having a different dosage or regimens rather than from other patients. So in such scenarios, pharmacist or a clinical pharmacist is having a major role to optimize or to customize a precision medication towards their health condition. Again, the scope of pharmacogenomics, especially then again pharmacoeconomics, etc., are coming as a scope for the pharmacist. Then finally, the digital innovation, the telepharmacy, especially during the pandemic period, many of the pharmacists have used the telepharmacy as a source to reach to their patients so that the proper medical adherence is happening to them. So, as well as the innovative things from the artificial intelligence can also be used. So, here I am with few success stories where the pharmacists led vaccination campaigns in US and UK, United Kingdom. You can see over 300 million COVID-19 doses was administered through the retail pharmacy program in 2021-22. And again, in United Kingdom, you can see the community pharmacists played a central role in the annual flu vaccination program. And in coming to the India, where the states like Kerala and Karnataka, where the programs, the pharmacists have supported the health programs to support the COVID-19 vaccine counseling. Therefore, the uptake had been increased. Yes. So the next is digital health intervention for improving the outcomes. Again, the electronic vaccine intelligence network. This is a digital platform where the vaccine stocks and supply chains have been updated by the pharmacists and the vaccine managers so that to reduce the stock outs and wastages. And even in Canada, pharmacists use the tele-pharmacy or the digital adherence apps during the COVID-19 to provide the medication reviews and improve the adherence in rural communities. Then again, some of the success stories in community pharmacy contribution during the pandemic. We can see different countries. During the first COVID-19 wave in Italy, community pharmacies were among the first few open health facilities ensuring the uninterrupted access to the chronic medicines. And again in Nigeria, which the pharmacists who encountered many of the misinformation on the COVID-19 vaccines. And come to the India, many community pharmacies offered free home delivery services of essential medications during the lockdown, especially for elderly patients and those with chronic illness. So, in summary, my I can say that pharmacists, more than the counters, they are educators, innovators, and advocates, and therefore their roles are not only limited to a dispensing or compounding, but also they have enhanced or they are reaching to other areas where the more care to the patients is ensured. So the call to action is to support the pharmacists as essential members of the healthcare team and recognize them and empower them involving role in the patient-centered care. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your valuable insights with us. Now it's time for interaction. We open the floor for question and answer session. Participants are requested to type their questions in the chat box. Our speakers will be happy to address them.
It appears there are no questions. We can proceed with word of thanks, Dr. Shiba.
Hello, sir. I have not heard the question in between. There was any question?
May we request Dr. Shilpa and Dr. Merin to kindly switch on their video. Okay, Dr. Shiva, please proceed.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf
We
of
can't
the
hear you.
organizing
We
team,
can't hear.
good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible, sir, now?
Please switch off your video, Dr. Shiva. Maybe we can hear you.
Sir, hello, sir. Am I audible now, sir? Sir?
Yeah, we can hear you well. Please.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the organizing team, I sincerely thank our distinguished guests and speakers for gracing today's World Pharmacist Day celebration with their valuable time and insights. My heartfelt gratitude to Dr. H. Joshi sir for the warm welcome and to Dr. Nagappa, President of APTI, for the inspiring inaugural address. Special thanks to our speakers, Dr. Shilpa and Dr. Marin, for their enlightening talks that have broadened our perspective on pharmacy practice.
On my
I
laptop.
also thank the Association of Community Pharmacists and Pharma Vision for their support, and to all the participants, students, and colleagues for making this event meaningful with your presence and active engagement. Finally, a word of appreciation to the entire organizing committee for their dedicated efforts behind the scenes. Thank you all once again and wishing you a wonderful evening ahead.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shilpa, and a special thanks to Shilpa and as well as Dr. Mary Marin, because you have saved us today. Right? Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.